the district director of Michigan. So I went speaking to 3 chapters to 20 chapters at the time of brothers within the state of Michigan. And then I started getting noticed within the fraternity and eventually became the Midwestern Regional Vice President. I served in other roles within the region. I served in other roles at the national level or general level. But I became a board member within the fraternity by becoming the Midwestern Regional Vice President. And then I went from speaking to 20 chapters worth of brothers to 13 states or 12 states worth of brothers plus the District of Canada. And then ultimately, I became the general president of Alpha Phi Alpha. And I can tell you, between the time of being a district director, regional vice president, general president, and even past general president, by my count, I have been invited to and spoken at over 150 to 200 different functions where I had to deliver my thoughts, where I had to convey my ideas and influence individuals. Didn't mean that folks agreed with what I was saying, but being in these positions allowed me to prepare to being a leader in this organization. And so as I matriculated my journey within the fraternity, it also strengthened myself outside of Alpha. I was not afraid to speak up at a company meeting or to speak up at my CEO's leadership staff meeting to convey what needed to be done with the role and the activities and the tasks that I've been given. I was not afraid to jump into being a board member of the Boy Scouts, not afraid to working with young individuals and letting them know little skills that you develop along the way will help you be a better person for the future and for the here and now. And so as I look back throughout my Alpha journey of being a leader in this fraternity and speaking to a diverse crowd, I spoke about racism to the Chamber of Commerce in Iowa. I spoke about mentorship to big brothers and service to various organizations along that journey. So it wasn't just about Alpha. It was conveying who Mark Tillman is, the information I needed to convey at that time, and the leadership that I needed to exude to those individuals. Wrong way. One thing I feel about public speaking and its importance to leadership is that, one, leadership is not given. It is truly earned. And public speaking is pretty much the foundation on the skills and the right to lead. These 7 points that are shown on the screen, and I'm not going to read each one of them, but these are the 7 points that come from John C. Maxwell's book called The Right to Lead. And he talks about these 7 traits of leadership, and that these traits are a part of me. There are many different styles out there, but these are the 7 traits that I embody when I know that I have to direct individuals, I have to delegate tasks to others, I have to convey my vision, convey my thoughts, influence individuals. And public speaking is more directly tied to item number 3, building positive relationships. Because as it states, leadership is influence, and your ability to speak in front of a crowd, no matter how big or how small, you are influential. And it's a relational activity. If you are unable to speak to a crowd, to convey your thoughts, you may be seen as a credible individual or a credible leader. And that doesn't mean that folks have to agree with you. It just means that folks want to know, do you know what you're talking about? can I follow what you're saying? And is it something that I can get behind? So I feel that public speaking at its core of leadership is that if you want to become a better leader, that you have to consider these different areas: conveying your ideas more effectively to others, engaging your audience that ignites additional thoughts and ideas, that when one comes together and they can collaborate, the idea becomes bigger than the one individual. And then in turn, these individuals or audience will give you the right to lead them into whatever situation that you're there to provide for. So for myself, these 7 traits are basically foundational to who I am and how I've led this organization, how I lead at my company, and how I've led in different organizations I've been a member of. And so my approach to public speaking, that when I'm addressing my brothers or I'm addressing a room full of board members for the Boy Scouts, I have a simple approach. You can Google tricks for public speaking, but this is what has been the core to me and foundational to myself. That I do believe that the audience wants to hear what you have to say. I've been invited over 200 times. I have to know and understand that whatever I'm going to say, the audience wants to hear it. I never go into any situation thinking, man, will the audience accept what I'm going to give them? I go in there with the confidence and with the knowledge that I know what I'm talking about, and I want to share those thoughts with the individuals who are going to be reviewing and viewing my presentation. I speak with confidence, but not with arrogance. And so for my approach, and the approach that I suggest as tips, is that know what you're going to say, know how you're going to say it, but say it in a manner that's not off-putting. And so I work very hard to ensure that my delivery would make individuals and my audience feel comfortable and that they understand what I'm going to say. And then if I don't know something, I say so. I am not the smartest person in the room. I know that there are more folks smarter than me. Sometimes what I'm presenting on, they're individuals who spend years and decades on that craft or that area or that topic. Sometimes for me, it's a 20-minute conversation. But if I don't know something, I am open enough and confident enough to say, I don't know. And to say, I can find someone to get that answer, or I will go research that answer. So when I'm standing in front of the public giving a speech, I don't try to be the smartest person in the room. And I'm very humble to say, I don't know something if I'm asked a question. I always check my facts. And I would say that in any approach, you check your facts before someone else does. I work very hard to ensure that the information that I'm conveying is very factual and very specific, and that if someone wants to Google it, they will know that it came from a source or that it was formed based on information that you can find. I work very hard not to just ad lib anything that I say to my audience. I want to make sure that I'm very intentional about what I'm going to convey and that the information I convey is very factual. I do try to keep in mind of the time, and I am looking at the time and I'm sweating with the timekeeper on this call because I made mistakes on going over time. At the 2015 General Convention, I spoke for 1 hour and 45 minutes to almost 2 hours, given my State of Fraternity address. I had a lot of information to convey, but one of my biggest regrets that I spoke that long. But one of the things that I came away with is that my brothers sat there and listened. But I am very conscious of everyone's time. respectful of everyone's time because they're there to listen to you, but they don't want to listen to you all day, all night. And so I try to keep that. I know I go over at times, and sometimes it's avoidable, but I do try to focus on that, and that's very important. I always say thank you. Thank you to Brother Wilkerson for inviting me here this evening. Thank you to any speaking engagement that I delivered, because if they didn't want to hear from you, they didn't need to invite you. And so I'm very cognizant that it is an honor when someone wants to hear what I have to say. And I always want to let people know that I appreciate the fact that you want me to speak to you. So I always say thank you at the end of all of my speeches. And the last tip that I can give, and that I follow myself personally, is that the best speaking style is your style. You know, as a past general president, you have many examples of great orators within our fraternity. One of the living orators is our own Brother Milton Carver Davis, who is the 29th general president. He is a fantastic speaker. You have Brother Everett Ward, our 35th general president. He is also a fantastic speaker. And all of our general presidents had to really be good speakers in order to become general president. Because I can assure you, if you were unable to convey your thoughts to the brotherhood will let you know, and you will not become general president. But one of the things that I took for myself as a speaker was not to emulate anybody else. I can only be me. And as long as you are authentically you in who you are, you may speak with an accent, you may speak with a slight lisp. Be authentic to who you are, because that forms the foundation of the person that's going to convey information. And the audience wants to know, man, is he being true to me? Is he being who he is? And the worst thing to do is to try to be someone that you're not. So I do want to say thank you to Brother Wilkerson, and thank you to my brothers of the Alpha Toastmasters for allowing me to be a part of this occasion. I don't take it for granted that for everything that I do, brothers are watching. The public is watching. But one thing that I always try to do is to be very prepared, because at any moment, you may be asked to speak for any occasion, for any function, for any person. And I take high honor to be able to provide my thoughts, my ideas, my tips on how I can help better my brothers to become better speakers, but more importantly, to become better leaders, not only for this organization, but for the world at large. So I want to say thank you, my brothers, for this opportunity.